Hello, 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 amigas, and welcome back to Amiga Handle Your Shit podcast. I'm excited to have this beautiful guest on today's podcast. Her name is Alexandra Kazarian, and she's a friend of mine. And she's a very powerful attorney. And you might have seen her on CBS LA, or you might have heard of her from People Magazine or US Weekly or on the Fox News. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about her. She graduated from Pepperdine University School of Law. And Alexandra joined the Los Angeles County Public Defender's Office, where she spent her first 8 years of her career trying serious and violent felony cases to juries. Now, she now has come to G&G after establishing her own practice where her aggressive, unflinching, and successful defense of her clients earned her the respect of her colleagues and adversaries. As a result, she is sought out by news and media agencies to comment and explain today's bombshell cases as an expert in the legal field. She appears regularly on the nightly news as a legal analyst for CBS LA, has provided hours of live analysis alongside Sharon Tate and Jeff Michaels during Brett Kavanaugh Supreme Court confirmation hearing, and has been quoted extensively in People Magazine, US Weekly, and on Fox News. Currently of counsel to G&G, she handles the criminal caseload alongside Mark Garagos and his team of seasoned trial attorneys, defending the constitutional rights of the accused in every type of case imaginable. She is definitely a superpower. She's an incredible human being, and I'm super excited to have her here and to call her a friend of mine. So without further ado, this is Alex.
Got it.
Hello, hello, amigas, and welcome to Amiga Handle Your Shit podcast. I am excited here to have my friend Alex, who is freaking famous. Okay. She is a famous attorney, and she's been handling criminal and civil cases for some time now. And she is part of this really prolific law firm called Garagos and Garagos, and it's really top notch. And I'm sure you've either heard her on Fox News or on CNN, or heard of the firm. And it's like pretty epic that I get to have this beautiful soul in front of us to talk to us about her life, not only as a criminal defense attorney, but just her personal life and how she handles everything, because girl, she is handling her shit. And so she needed to be here. And I'm so grateful and thankful to have her here. So welcome, Alex, to Amiga Handle Your Shit podcast.
Thank you so much. It's my absolute pleasure to be here. I'm so happy that you thought of me.
Oh, of course. Let me tell you something, Alex. When obviously we've been friends for some time now. Yeah. And what I love about you is that you're very genuine. Like, you're no filters. Like, you are who you are. You meet you and you're like, oh, she actually is that way. She's funny and charismatic and smart. And so I love that about you. And I really wanted you to be on this podcast, especially, girl, given all these TikToks that you're doing. I'm like, this girl's handling it in a different way, because lawyers don't do that, and they should, right?
Yeah, they should. And you know, I don't have the ability to really put a filter on and be somebody else in front of people. And sometimes it does get me in trouble because I do just say things and I don't really think ahead about who the person is in front of me and how they're going to react to it. I do that at work. I do. When I walk into a courtroom, I'm not, you know, TikTok AK all the time. But you know, if I can get the vibe from the judge or from a jury that they're going to appreciate it, then it'll slip out a little bit. But because I have to be so controlled inside of the courtroom all the time, once I step out, I just don't have the desire. I don't have, in Armenian, we call it the havas, like that desire to just like put on a front and be someone else. So my outside life, you get what you get, and you don't get upset.
Yes,
Hopefully.
I love it. I always say that the opinions of others has nothing to do with you. It doesn't.
Yeah. And right. And one of the things that I have to remind myself sometimes is what other people say about you is none of your business. It's
Exactly.
just, it's their perception and it's how they're dealing with the world. And you are in control of your own life completely. And that
Completely.
helps me a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, great. Because, we all have choices. And I think a lot of people don't believe they do, but they
You have
do.
the choice to be happy. And I choose that every single day.
Amen. Amen to that. Choose.
Sometimes many times a day.
Why not? Why not? Right. So,
Yeah.
okay. So before, you became an attorney, obviously you're born and raised here in LA, right?
In Whittier. Yeah.
Whittier, California, amigas. So tell us a little bit about you, because I want amigas to have some perspective, some background on your family life. So you were born and raised in Whittier, California. So are your parents attorneys? Give us a little
No, they're not.
perspective.
No, my parents were county employees. My dad was a politician my whole life. He ran for Congress a couple times, came really close, but then decided that he wanted to be behind the scenes. And so he was chief of staff to a state senator for a long time. And my mom has always been a continuation high school teacher. And so public service is in their blood. And but I was going to be an actress. I was going to go on Saturday Night Live. That was my trajectory.
Well, you could
That's
still be on SNL. You can still be on
Yeah.
SNL, right?
Right. Yeah. If Kim K can, I can too.
That's
But
right.
I that's all I wanted to do. But my dad said, look, the one thing that I regret in my life is that I didn't go to law school, because if I did, then maybe I would have made it to Congress, or I'd have more of a plan for the rest of my life after politics. So please just go to law school and then do whatever you want. So that was my plan. But when I went to law school, I interned at the public defender's office, actually here in this building. I'm in a courthouse right now. And we had a family member that was working there. And I thought, I'm not doing this to be another county employee. I don't even really want to be a lawyer, but if I'm going to be a lawyer, then I better be like a, successful one, not a county employee. I came, and within 2 days, I thought this criminal defense life is exactly everything I want. It's performance. You've got to be smart. You've got to be on your toes. You're making an impact on people's lives. Hopefully you're making people feel good at the end of the day, your clients. And so it was everything that I wanted from a performative career, and also with the added ability that people would think I'm smart. So I was like, you know what, I like this. And so I fell into it and I loved it. And I was a public defender for 8 years until I decided that I needed to move on. And so now I'm doing private criminal defense and civil.
Nice. Okay. But was there any thought of like doing other than criminal? I mean, like, did you think, oh, well, there's immigration, there's civil, there's family law? Was it always just criminal?
I didn't, because I didn't really think that I was going to be an attorney, because my parents were not. I don't have people close in my family that are. And so I didn't have anything really to look towards as like, I didn't know any immigration attorneys or civil attorneys or anything like that. I've always known Mark, who's my business partner now, but I only watched him do criminal defense. And so I just didn't see myself in any of those roles, because I didn't know anybody in any of those roles. And so once I saw this and I saw people that were my peers doing it, I thought I could do this, and I enjoy it and I like it. And so I fell into it and it became my calling.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
Thank God for people like you. Now, it's criminal defense can weigh heavy. Like, I mean, literally, because you're really the point person, right? And how do you handle that?
For me, every single day, my goal is to be there for my client on what is always the worst day of their life. So I'm just there to try to guide my client that day, through that day, and then we'll deal with tomorrow. But if I can just make my client's day better, by being there for them, then it's a success. I can't think about the fact that if I mess up today, my client might go to prison for the rest of their life. Like that can't weigh heavy on your head. You've got to compartmentalize. You've got to break it down into tiny little tasks. So today to help my client, I'm going to do this. And then tomorrow I'm going to do this. And if we have to go to trial, then all the little things that I've done leading up to that trial will all come together in that, that big performance for the jury to show them the person that I know my client is. So it's just, you got to break it down into little things or else you're going to get completely overwhelmed.
Yeah, I can imagine that, because snapshots are a lot better in terms of handling things versus because if you be macro in everything that you do, it's going to overwhelm you
100%.
and overshadow your abilities, and and then also to the detriment of your client. I love what you're saying. Okay, so is there like a particular way that you handle that compartmentalizing? Is there like, okay, you do meditation, or is there like something in your life that you do to help you in that regard?
I just saw the new Thor movie, and there was a really funny line that I died about because it resonated with me, where someone asks him, do you do meditation? And he said, I did a lot of meditation, and I found it made me angrier. I was like, me too. I can't meditate. I've tried so many times. No, but I do like visualization. I like when I get a case, somebody comes to me, John Smith comes to me and he says, I've got this, let's go big. I'm charged with murder. And, maybe I did do something that led to somebody dying, but it's not murder. And so, it's a hard case and you've got to work on this with me. I start from the end and I start from the very end and work backwards. What's our big theory of defense? And then how do we get somebody to understand that? Is it something that a regular person would understand in that situation? And if not, how do we get them to understand that this person found themselves in that situation? And then work backwards from there. What do I need to do to get to the week before trial? What do I need to do to get, and then work backwards? And so then I start there. And that's what helps me.
I love that you're saying about visualization, because I think a lot of it has to do with that. When you visualize, you actually start manifesting your outcome.
Exactly. I believe that 100%. Visualization and role playing is visualizing it from your perspective, but also visualizing it from your opponent's perspective so that you can manifest the way that they deal with it. Because if you can manifest yourself all day long, I know what I'm going to do. But if I don't think about what I'm going to do and the effect on who I'm trying to do it to, then it's too one-sided and you're not going to get exactly what you want. So like with clients too, I'll always put a number in my head. Like this month, I want to earn this much money. Okay, great. Well, if I just walk away, then like, who cares? But what am I going to do that? Right. What am I going to do so that I can be visible, so that people will trust me when they do see me? And, what do they need to see from me so that I can put that out there? So you've got to visualize both sides. So I always visualize the prosecution too. What are they? I'm going to tell the jury this. What are they going to come back with?
Right. Well, that's why you're top of the line, girl. Awesome.
That's why there's too much happening inside my head.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's what happens when you have some high achieving, high performance individuals. You've got a lot in your head and you got to break it down. And visualizing, I think, really assists in that endeavor of breaking it down and making it happen, not only for you, but for your client. Now, how do you handle cases that can weigh heavy on you? And I'm just speaking in terms of, like, for instance, like myself, also being an attorney, what I have found that weighed heavy on me, where I would be like, this is a non-negotiable. I am not going to go this route. Sure. For me, it's always been about kids.
Yeah.
And that, to me, I'm like, I'm not taking a kid case. I'm not going to be involved in that. Do you have non-negotiable kind of cases?
So I don't have non-negotiable cases because I my role is to defend somebody's rights, and it takes a very specific person to understand that that role doesn't change no matter who the person is sitting next to you. But if my client can't visualize with me, if my client can't pay attention when I'm trying to work through the case, and when I say can't pay attention, I don't mean like a developmental disability. I mean somebody that is actively fighting me when I am explaining to them how we are going to deal with this case. If they think, no, I don't want you to do that, I want you to do it my way, that's the kind of case that I can't do. And I've learned the hard way that no matter how much they're paying, because a lot of time high worth clients want to be very, very much in control of their case, and they are their own worst enemy. And so I've learned the hard way that there is no amount of money that is worth it if it's the kind of client that's going to fight my vision of the case. And they're always welcome to come with me on the journey, but if you're stopped and you won't walk forward with me, then that's a case I'm not taking. And if you absolutely have no, if you can't look inward and like, it's the kind of person that says, I don't know why I am here. I'm not a criminal. I don't know why people are accusing me of this. How dare they accuse me of this? You have no self-reflection on how you got yourself here. That's the kind of case that I won't take, because I can't convince a jury that you're the person that should either be forgiven, or that the juror could see themselves in your shoes if you're just adamant that you're the victim and that everyone else surrounding you is attacking you. So that's the kind of case I can't take, because I need you to be relatable no matter what the situation is. And some people that are just not meant to be found not guilty have that personality.
Yeah, I can see that, because you're zealously advocating the position of your client, and it's a partnership.
Yeah, and I need credibility.
Yeah.
I need the jury to believe that I believe what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if I can't feed them something that I can relate to, then I'm not going to do anybody any good, and I'm going to annoy everybody. And if I'm out there being insincere, and my client gets sentenced, you better believe that my judge is going to take it out on my client because he doesn't like me and what I've done. My client thinks that if the judge thinks I've wasted everybody's time because my client is forcing me to, then they're going to take it out on my client.
Oh, absolutely. 1000%. And I think that's a great thing to say, because I believe oftentimes clients think that lawyers can create miracles. And if you're insincere, that's gonna show. I mean, I know that in my practice, I've had clients where I'm like, wait a minute, you told me this and I believed you.
Yeah.
Now you want me to tell the judge something else?
Yeah.
So it's interesting, because it is a relationship, and when you self-sabotage, you're going to sabotage the entire thing.
Yeah. And if you're narcissistic and think that this is all about you and people attacking you, then, why would a juror want to come in and take time out of their life to hear about what a victim you are as a defendant? Like, it's not going to resonate with them at all.
Right. Because, the choice is that you were at a certain location where this thing happened.
I mean, unless you literally were laying in your bed and picked up out of your bed, there's a good chance that somewhere along the line, there was a choice that led you down here. Yeah. You may not need to be punished for what happened all the way down here, but somewhere down here, you can say, mea culpa, this happened, which led to this, but it's not a crime because it started over here.
Right. Exactly. Love that. So now, all right. So you've done so many court cases. I mean, I think you've done over 50 jury trials.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's pretty intense and amazing. Okay. So now you're taking it from the jury, you're done with cases. And now I see you on social media and I'm like, wow, where does this girl get the time to do all these amazing things? So how do you do it? Like okay, you switch gears and then you become a social media mogul, if you will. Tell me, like, is there like you listen to a song and then you're like, oh, I'm going to talk about this, or what motivates you?
So I love Instagram. I love TikTok. I love all that just mindless stupidity sometimes. And it is a lot of fun when you can, and I love to cook, I love to bake. So I really like to watch all the ones where they'll do something, but then they'll give you a recipe in there, or they'll teach you things. All the people that are like, yeah, things I wish I knew before I was 30, and it's like a 10-second clip and you learn something. So I will sit there for hours in court if I'm waiting for my case to be called, at night, if I can't sleep, I will scroll for hours, and it's just so much fun for me. And at first, I thought like I should do something like this. And it probably took me, I'm not kidding, a year to actually do it the first time. I had Instagram, whatever, but not like the reels where you're like performing or doing something. And so what I did was I started a TikTok and just started talking and just saying like if I was going to give advice, and I pretended like I was talking to like my family. And I would say, "Oh, you asked me a question. Oh, yeah." And then I would just answer the question. And little by little, those started taking off. And eventually one of those hit 1 million. And it was like, what should I do, the blood or breath test? And it's just me talking in the background. Like, I think one of them, I'm like eating spaghetti and I'm just like answering a question. And I just started doing it to get myself comfortable with it. And then that one hit 1 million. And I was like, oh my God, people actually enjoy this format. So on TikTok now, if somebody brings up something during the day, anytime somebody asks me a question during the day, I'm like, oh, it's probably a question somebody else has. So I'll just go on and answer it. Even I did a couple when I was driving home. It's not a good idea. But but I'll just do it. And then like without even thinking about it, it'll take off because there's a lot of people that want answers to those questions. And then on Instagram, I was like, what would happen if I like actually did these stupid reels where I started lip syncing, but I started another account without my name on it, without like any link to me, so that people wouldn't be able to like search me and find me. And then every single one of them got like 10,000 views. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I got to start doing these because people like them. So it was
Yeah.
all trial and error, and it was all just getting, away from my insecurities and just doing it, like just do it. And I did, and people like it. So I'll keep doing it, I guess.
That's right. Amen. So now tell me, of those TikToks, those reels, have any of those become clients of yours?
Yeah. Yes. I
Shut
get people
up.
calling. I do, because I have my phone number right there, and they call. A lot of people wanting expungements to clean their records up. A lot of people with DUIs, but yeah, yes, people call.
Nice. And do you find that DUIs are like your most like common case, if you will?
Um, DUIs and domestic violence.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of those. And it's not that there's a lot of domestic violence in the world. There's a lot of people that get charged with domestic violence, and for a lot of different reasons. Neighbors might call and say, I can hear people arguing. Um, Somebody might see something, but ever since, it sounds silly, but it's true. Ever since OJ Simpson, if there's a domestic violence call, somebody's going to get charged. So there's a lot of false domestic violence cases in the system, because the officers will say, I don't know who's at fault, but I'm not going to just walk away. I can't just walk away.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of that in the system. And then DUIs, people think that they can drive.
I
They
know.
can't.
There's Uber. Hello, Lyft.
I remember when Uber got really popular and all the DUI attorneys were devastated, and they were like, we're gonna lose our careers. No one's ever gonna get a DUI again. Not the
No,
case.
no, they're just stubborn people who still want to drive their own car.
Yeah. But it's also not like, you hear DUI and you think it's like some sloppy driver, like, oh,
Right,
whatever.
right.
It's a lot of times it's someone that had an extra glass of wine and waited like half an hour and thinks, okay, I waited and now I'm good to drive. It's actually one of the worst things you can do, because you have that glass of wine, then you let it absorb. Now it's in your system and now you're driving. Best thing to do. I mean, I'm not giving advice, but you actually would be better off pounding that glass of wine and then driving to your house if it's close. Because
Yeah.
then by the time you get home, it'll absorb. But people think, okay, I'll have one more glass of wine. I'll hang out for a
Well,
half
hey,
hour and then I'll get in the car.
yeah. Well, how many of us have done that? I mean,
I everyone,
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 everyone.
everyone. Yes, I know. Oh my goodness. I love this conversation. So I know I've done domestic violence work in the immigration context and family law. And
Yeah.
I've seen there's been a lot of injustice. I mean, let's just, and yes, people calling on your neighbor and having these accusations. And sometimes even when the true victim is not really the victim,
Hmm.
that kind of gets a little confusing, right?
Yeah. Well, yes, it does. And then when you talk about immigration, there's a lot of U visa issues where you can get a visa if you're a victim of crime.
Yeah.
And so, you spoke about children cases and how you won't take children cases. I do have cases where I have victims who are alleging abuse and on a child, and there's a disclosure that there was a U visa involved, and there's no physical um, evidence of any abuse or anything like that, but there's this allegation and it gets charged. And so I in those particular cases, I do have cases like that.
Yeah, no, I know. And it's like, I mean, I've done so many U visa cases, and I find that I actually do a major intense interview with the client, because I am not going to go and
Yeah.
put my name on this pleading
Right.
to get you a U visa
Right.
unless we have evidence and proof, not just you saying that you're a victim.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
know.
it happens.
It could be really tricky. I'm so excited for you. I'm excited for all the things that you're doing. And, I can't let you go until you give us your 1 or 2 tips on how an amiga can handle her shit.
Oof. I mean, you got to break it down. You got to, sometimes, like yesterday, I took my kid to basketball practice 8 minutes late, and it actually turned out to be 24 hours early because his basketball practice is today. Um, So, I mean, we've just got to break it down. I think writing things down in my planner, like literally getting up in the morning and writing my to-do list for today and for the next 7 days really helps me. Like literally looking at a piece of paper that says like from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. this is my day, and then the next 7 days, what do I have? That really helps because I don't handle the one area that I don't handle well is friendships. And I leave a lot of my girlfriends feeling like I don't care, or that like I didn't text them back, or that, I show up to the birthday party and I don't have a gift and I promise it's on the way. I ordered it, but why didn't you think about this a week before? And so in order for me to like think about the rest of the month, I've got to look at it every single day. And I have to think, what do I need to do today to be ready for next Sunday? And like my sister's so great at it. She'll just be like, oh yeah, I bought a gift for this thing that's coming up in 2 months. And I'm like, how do you even think about that today? So I just try not to focus on just today, break things up into small pieces, and forgive yourself too. Like I don't do anything perfectly. The stupid TikToks I never would have posted if I waited until I got the right one.
Yeah.
I heard somebody give advice about TikToks and Instagrams and stuff, and said that you should only try 3 times, and after you've done it over and over 3 times, then like move on, because when you go back, you'll see that those 3 that you thought were terrible actually are good, and you can pick a good one out of there. So don't waste your time trying to be perfect, and I think that can apply to life.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I think being your authentic self is the most important thing. If you fuck up, that means you fucked up. Who cares?
Yeah, but that gets hard too. I don't know. Like the being your authentic self advice to me doesn't make me feel good, because people get pissed at me when I'm my authentic self. So I'm always feeling like I need to be better, and I need to,
Oh,
so just, I think forgive yourself is just better. Just forgive yourself if somebody gets their feelings hurt because you're being your authentic self, because you
yeah.
didn't mean it. Sometimes
Yeah.
people want you to apologize for being your authentic self. So you've got
Yeah.
to decide whether you're going to or whether you're not. So you can't really tell everyone to just F off and like, this is me, Pac-Man. Like it
No,
doesn't work for
well,
everyone. So
yeah.
it's hard. It's hard to be your authentic self. It really is.
I think when you're in a very public platform as you are, I think is a lot more challenging. I can see that. Um,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
I think be good
I
to yourself and be your
definitely,
authentic self and be good to yourself are
yes.
they they're sometimes they seem to be like mutually like it's just really hard to be good to yourself.
Yeah.
So for me, maybe I'm giving too much away about
No,
myself.
no, no, thank you. No, I think it just has to do with being women. We're so hard on ourselves,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I think
oftentimes
that's
it's
true.
like, we just don't give ourselves enough forgiveness and credit and compassion,
Yeah.
and I think it's important for us as amigas, to be able to just forgive ourselves if it need to be forgiven, or have compassion for the shit that we make ourselves believe and do,
Yeah.
because sometimes it's like it's all in our freaking heads.
Yeah. Maybe forgive yourself is a little too harsh. Maybe just be nice to yourself,
Yeah, yeah. Be
you
nice
know?
to yourself. Yes.
Just be nice.
Just be nice. No, of course,
Yeah.
be nice, be kind and all that stuff. And I love that you break things down into
Yeah.
chunks. And it's a good tool to have, to be able to break it down, because if you live your life in this whole macro world, it could get overwhelming if you don't break it.
Yeah.
And it's important, not only as a lawyer, but I think in anything that you do, it's important to have your calendar and say and commit. Like, if you have it on your calendar, that means it's going to get done, you know.
Yeah.
And if you don't have it in your calendar, it's because you've been all over the place and you're not getting shit done. You're
Yeah.
not.
I like the one touch rule too. If you get mail and you need to RSVP, do it as soon as you touch it. Don't put it to the side and say, I'm going to do that later. As soon as you touch it, one touch, RSVP. As soon as you see that email, respond.
Yeah, yeah,
That helps me too, because otherwise things pile up and my to-do list doesn't help me because there's too much on it.
yeah. Or when you have like 200 emails that you got to go through, forget it.
I won't even tell you how many I have.
Thousands.
It's
You need an
crazy.
assistant just to look over your emails, pretty
I
much.
do, but I can't let go of that control.
Yeah, I know.
No, no.
Well, my love, thank you so much for
This
being
was
here
great. Thank you so
I
much for
I
having me.
I'm so glad that we were able to coordinate and just align and get you in your break at court, which is fantastic, because sometimes, even when you have your breaks at court, it's like, oh God, you have other people to think about. Are they listening in and all that stuff? But thank you so much for being here on Amiga Handle Your Shit podcast.
Absolutely.